From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Will former President Trump be back on Facebook today? I'm Laura Podesta with details on the decision coming down this morning.
The Folk Festival in Henri Ra may be canceled in Butte this year, but businesses in Uptown Butte are trying to create events to keep the economy and the music going. I'll tell you about them coming up.
There you go, your current conditions around southwest Montana, not too bad. We're looking at 20s in West Yellowstone and Butte, 30s elsewhere for the most part, a little warmer. Big Timber and Helena right now. What's your day shaping up to look like? We're going to warm up into the low 60s today for the Bozeman area with partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies in Butte as well, reaching right at 60 degrees. And then a little warming spell heading our direction, at least for a day, and then changes coming for your weekend. We'll have that forecast coming up for you in about 10 minutes. Meantime, it is 6:32, our top story this morning. We do learn today whether former President Donald Trump will be allowed back on Facebook and Instagram. CBS News' Laura Podesta has details on what will factor into that determination, including the board created by Facebook that'll be making the decision.
It's been nearly 4 months since former President Trump was last allowed to post on most of the major social media platforms. Today, Facebook's independent oversight board is set to rule on whether to allow him back on its sites. It banned Mr. Trump back in January for a Post executive said incited violence during the attack on the U.S. Capitol. During the siege, the president wrote, "These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away."
I understand the attention and the spectacle around it because it is important.
Jessica Gonzalez is a member of the group The Real Facebook Oversight Board, which, to be clear, is not the actual oversight board, but rather a watchdog group made up of journalists, politicians, and civil rights activists.
The harm that could come from Trump being back on the platform is immense. So, of course, it's a spectacle.
Critics of Facebook's decision worry about the First Amendment implications.
The free speech that Americans enjoy basically depends on the whims of monopoly corporations.
Some law experts believe Facebook may need government regulation in the future.
There is a role for government here, I think, because these problems cannot be wholly solved by private entities.
The actual oversight board created by Facebook is made up of human rights lawyers, constitutional law experts, even a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the former Prime Minister of Denmark. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, Laura also tells us the board was chosen and funded by Facebook. If it rules in former President Trump's favor, Facebook has 7 days to reinstate the account. In the meantime, Mr. Trump has already created a blog to get his voice out to his supporters. In other national headlines, women and Black Americans are buying more guns than ever before. Alexa Liaco takes us to an unconventional shooting range where one man is making sure his community is firing their weapons safely.
The guns are real, but they don't fire bullets. An unconventional shooting range for a group that's making history too.
We are standing in the Colorado's first Black-owned gun range.
This is the 1770 Armory and Gun Club. Anubis Haru started the club in Denver just a few months ago. He realized his community had no place of their own to learn about guns.
It's important to have someone that looks like you sometimes. When you're learning certain things, you just naturally feel more comfortable when you're learning from someone who understands your walk and where you're from.
And after last year, he knew it was needed.
A lot of people don't feel safe with, the current climate, with certain political groups that are in operation.
Now the Black community has a space to learn a powerful lesson.
Your Second Amendment is something that doesn't guarantee your safety, it guarantees your ability to be able to defend yourself or fight back.
And that means training, which is easier here.
There you go, just like that.
The laser cartridges are much cheaper than buying ammo for a live range. And the classes are held in the city's historic Black neighborhood, making this truly a place for everyone.
Let's make this interactive. From our Latino brethren, our LGBTQ family, they all say pretty much the same thing. It's like, hey, we feel comfortable here. So that's one of the reasons that we're here, and women especially.
Anubis was surprised how many women immediately signed up for classes and came out to the club's live fire range nights. He's glad women are seeing this gun club isn't a boys' club.
All right. Woo! Woo!
Women made up 40% of gun purchases in 2020, and gun sales to Black Americans were up by 60%. Almost half of the record-breaking 20 million guns sold last year were to first-time buyers. Buyers like Sonia Edwards.
I finally said, let's do it, because I think this is like something that needed to be done in my heart. We just need to be protected, because any and everything is happening right now.
Both these women joined the club to find safety in a time of uncertainty.
I think that's a fear for, anybody of color.
We're not that soft target anymore. We're gaining knowledge and we're starting to become a hard target.
Every night at the range is helping break down barriers and build community.
I like the Armory because, one, they are Black-owned, but they're not Black exclusive.
It's making gun ownership more accessible and giving these women a space in a male-dominated world.
Yeah, just like that.
I'm Alexa Liaco reporting.
That's so awesome, getting such important training as well. Meantime, closer to home now, the big festivals may be canceled due to the pandemic, but smaller events are being organized in Butte to keep the music playing and the people shopping. TN's John Amy picks up the story.
With both the Montana Folk Festival and the Henri Ra Irish Festival canceled this year, a Butte business owner is pushing to have the weekly Music on Main event return to Uptown this summer.
And I know that it's something the community wants because I hear it at least once a day, people asking whether or not we're going to be able to have it, and hearing the excitement in their voice.
Pending approval from the Butte Council of Commissioners, Music on Main could start by June 24th, and a block party hosted by Matt Boyle on July 2nd. Events like these would help businesses that depend on foot traffic from the festivals.
We love the foot traffic. We love when people come in. We need those people to be up and around, and the energy to get Butte moving again up here.
And local musicians are looking forward to playing live again.
I missed performance. I missed being on the road. I missed meeting new people and seeing new places.
Chad Okrish is working on starting a new music festival in Anaconda for next year called Uncle Chad's Americonda Fest.
This network of awesome musicians that have become my family, and I want to share them with my other family, with Butte and Anaconda.
And getting the streets of Butte alive again with the sound of music is something they hope will help all the businesses in this area.
It feels like it's time for us to get back to normal. The vaccinations we're second highest in the state for getting the vaccination. So I feel like it's time for us to get back to normal, and the people are showing us that.
It's estimated that the Folk Festival brought between $8 million and $10 million to Butte's economy. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
And if you remember, the Montana Folk Festival started out as the National Folk Festival that ran in Butte from 2008 through 2010. It draws more than 100,000 people to the mining city over the 3 days. It also brings in between $8 and $10 million to the Butte economy. I know some of the challenges they've had there is some of those musical guests that they bring in for that and Henri Ra are international travelers, and international travel not quite possible right now. So a festival that features those local musicians who are looking for venues, I think, is a great fit for the interim time. We'll continue to follow that story here on Montana This Morning. Meantime, 6:40, it is time to take a quick break. When we come back, you know what it is today, right? Cinco de Mayo. Some history on the twist and what has become one of America's most popular holidays. Coming up, we'll have that. I'll also take a look at your forecast, and we have more headlines. There's much more Montana This Morning after this quick break.